Hi, everyone. You are listening to Radio Cherry Bombe, and I'm your host, Kerry Diamond, coming to you from Newsstand Studios at Rockefeller Center in the heart of New York City. Today is the second episode in our Destination Canada miniseries. Over the next few weeks, we'll be spotlighting some of our favorite Canadians. We've got Instagram superstars, folks from Top Chef Canada, star restaurateurs, chefs, even one of my favorite fashion designers. Today's guest is coming to us from Toronto. It's Eden Grinshpan, chef, mom, dog mom, TV host, entrepreneur, author, and self-described goofball. You might know Eden as the host of Top Chef Canada, or from her wonderful cookbooks, Eating Out Loud and Tahini Baby, which celebrate bold flavors and Middle Eastern ingredients. Eden joins me to talk about her upbringing in Toronto, how she landed her role as the host of Top Chef Canada, and some of the special chefs she's met along the way. We also go over a few dishes from Tahini Baby that are perfect for Thanksgiving, whether you're celebrating Canadian Thanksgiving or American Thanksgiving. For those of you celebrating in Canada next week, happy Thanksgiving to you. And don't forget to tune in to the new season of Top Chef Canada, which kicks off Tuesday, October 14th. Stay tuned for my chat with Eden Grinshpan. Today's episode of Radio Cherry Bombe is presented by Destination Canada. I first discovered Canada when I was an 18-year-old college student and studying in upstate New York, just an hour outside of Montreal. I'd cross the border whenever I could to dance the night away at my favorite New Wave club and end the evening in a cozy diner with some poutine. Today, Canada still has a place in my heart and still delivers in ways that surprise and delight me every time. Canada is where you can enjoy dinner on the ocean floor, once the tide's gone out, of course, or fly into a remote wilderness lodge with 5-star meals and Indigenous-led experiences. You can stay at a hotel with a past life as a post office, and you can meet local makers and take home one-of-a-kind pieces from a glass-blowing workshop. How about foraging in the coastal forests of British Columbia with Chef Robin Court of Swallowtail Tours for a truly unique culinary adventure? Or biking, ziplining, and skiing in the Canadian Rocky Mountains of British Columbia and Alberta. There's a whole side of Canada you might not expect. Curated, creative, and completely unforgettable. Plan your next adventure at CanadaNaturally.com. We'll put that link in our show notes. Now that Jubilee LA is wrapped, it's time to start planning Jubilee New York 2026. It's taking place on Saturday, April 25th at the Glass House in Manhattan. The team and I are already at work thinking about talent, the menu, the activities. I don't have any details to share with you just yet, but I promise it's going to be a great day. Early bird tickets are on sale now through December 31st, 2025. If you're an official Bomb Squad member or a paid Substack subscriber, be sure to use your discount code. You can find it in your inbox or on our Substack website. I'll put all the links in our show notes. Now, let's check in with today's guest. Eden Grinshpan, welcome to Radio Cherry Bombe.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here with you.
I should say welcome back. You've been on the show before. You're one of our favorite guests. I always love talking to you, seeing you, hanging out with you. And I think we should tell everybody you have a new baby.
I do. I'm sitting here right now with our new puppy on my lap, Barry. He's 13 weeks old. He's nipping at my fingers. He's the sweetest angel. And he's brought so much. I was just telling Ido, the energy in the house has totally shifted. In a sense, like, we're obviously a really outgoing, fun, playful family, and there's always like laughter and dance and music. But now there's this like snuggly energy and so many giggles. He loves our daughters, and energetically, they're very much matched. They're all like running around and just giggling, and it's very sweet. It's nice. He kind of made the house feel even homier.
He couldn't be cuter.
Oh, he is such a delicious doll. He is incredibly fluffy, and I'm going to try and keep it that way. I feel like the brushing is going to become a little bit challenging. So far, he's like really like got a good temperament. He's sweet. This is my first boy dog. I've only had girls my whole life. We have 2 daughters, and I was like, maybe we need to bring some boy energy into this home for Ido.
I was going to say Ido definitely needs that. Okay, tell us what kind of dog and any special reason behind the name?
So we have a Cavapoo, which is King Charles Cavalier and a poodle. We called him Barry. We really wanted to think of like, I don't know, Ido's like, he's like a Jewish accountant. I'm like, Barry. But then also I was like, berry, like a berry, like I'm in the food industry and I kind of like that, we could have that there as well. And then for short, bear. And I was like, he looks kind of like a bear. So it felt like it kind of worked on all fronts. And like, he does give me like berry, we're going to get that. I want him to have like a really fluffy just hairdo. And we're just going to be like, Barry, come to me. But he's cute. He's like a lot of fun. And he's not even fully vaccinated yet. We haven't like taken him out really into the world.
Well, we have to get him on Puppy Bomb. So send me a picture so we can.
I will. I already, my phone. And my kids are like, what about me? I'm like, but the dog. He's such a munch.
Oh, well, congrats to you and the fam. On the new edition, want to talk about your childhood because I don't think I know that much about you as a kid and what you grew up eating. I kind of know from your high school years on, but
yes.
Tell me about Little Eden. What was Little Eden eating?
Well, funny enough, I was a picky eater. Laugh out loud. I made this my career. Actually, I find that I meet a lot of people that are in the industry that started off as being picky. But I grew up in Toronto. I was very lucky. I got to eat dinner with both my parents almost every night. So food was very much like at the kind of core and dinner, of my childhood. And my mom, she's an excellent cook. She doesn't love to cook. I am Jewish. I'm Ashkenazi Jewish. So my mom would make a lot of the classic chicken soup. I grew up on gefilte fish. We would have brisket with, my mom found, I think it's like a Bonnie Stern recipe. It's like brisket with 40 cloves of garlic. And she would literally count 40 cloves of garlic. But yeah, I grew up eating very much like kind of Ashkenazi, really like home cooked food. But I did also grow up in Toronto, which is one of the most multicultural cities in the world. I think my passion for food and exploring different cultures through food actually really comes from my father, because he would take me on these day adventures to shop in different grocery stores. And we would like try different breads, different spices, all these different beautiful fruits that would get shipped in. There was this little Iran where we would go to different grocery stores and I would eat fresh Barbary bread and tadig, and I would be able to buy those, traditional skewers to make like kebabs at home. Not that I was at the time, but I do now. Or like go into like a big Korean grocery store. And my dad and I would just be like so just intrigued. So a lot of my early food memories also do revolve around a lot of those experiences, which I think is just really fun and adventurous. I think one of the things that really makes Toronto so like special and unique.
It's so interesting that you had parents who had such different approaches to food, and I can completely see how that combined to become you, Eden.
Totally. Like, a lot of like home cooked, really comforting food. For my mom, she would make chicken fricassee. We grew up on like chicken fricassee too. Like, I don't even know what that is. In my mind, it's chicken boiled in like a tomato sauce of some sorts. I need to look into it. What is chicken fricassee? I should look into it.
Now that you say it, it's like, oh, I thought I knew what it is, but we have a computer right in front of us. So let me see.
What is chicken fricassee? And my mom make it right.
Hopefully I'm not violating any copyrights here, but this is what the internet told me it is. Fricassee is a dish where meat, such as chicken, rabbit, or seafood, is first browned and then simmered in a flavorful sauce, often creamy and white, to create a tender, comforting meal. The term comes from the French word fricassee, if that's how you say it.
Wow.
All right. Wait, let me see. Do I need to credit anybody? I got this from Google. So Google, thank you, wherever you got it from.
You know what? Maybe it was her version. She's, my grandmother, actually on both sides, are Romanian, and my grandfathers on both sides were Polish. So we did also have a lot of, I'm sure, dishes that were passed down from their parents. And I should look into it. I should ask her more, to be honest. But
was it delicious?
From what I remember, yeah.
Okay, so who cares what you called it, right?
Yeah, exactly. And we would eat like mamaliga and fun things like that, which is
what's
like
mamaliga?
It's a Romanian dish. The way my mom would make it was like creamy polenta with cottage cheese. So we grew up on really comforting like home cooked foods, but then also explored a lot of like the beautiful neighboring grocery stores and restaurants.
Your mom was ahead of her time mixing cottage cheese into things.
Clearly.
Now I feel like half of Instagram is all the crazy stuff you can make with cottage cheese.
I actually said I think that was one of my least favorite trends to date. I do not need to weave cottage cheese into every literal recipe.
Well, isn't there cottage cheese ice cream? I think I saw Katie Couric.
But did you try it?
No.
Did you try it?
No.
I know.
Did you?
Either. there's nothing exciting to me about this. So I was like,
Yeah, I don't get the benefit exactly,
it's the
but
protein. It's the protein. Everyone wanted more protein. I was like, take a handful of nuts. Like, just grab that handful of nuts.
I love Katie Couric. She does this occasional series where she tries like some kooky food that's gone viral. And I think she made a pizza crust out of cottage cheese. And it was so vile. Apologies to whoever maybe started that trend. I think when she finished, she was like, the crust was kind of like an omelet. And I was like, that's so wrong on so many levels.
Yeah, TikTok has made, I think it really stemmed from like the TikTok food trends. It has taken food trends that are like definitely, as a cook and a recipe developer, like those are things that I wouldn't even, it's a whole other level, like another layer that, like, and don't get me wrong, I've seen some really interesting hacks on there that I'm like, oh, that's cool and different. But like, I don't know.
Yeah, we're not dumping on TikTok trends. I mean, one of the things I love is how many young people it's encouraged to start cooking.
Yes,
that's
I agree.
Great.
Yeah.
The more people who cook for themselves and know their way around a kitchen, I'm all for it.
Me too.
We'll be right back with today's guest. In case you didn't know, Cherry Bombe is on Substack. If you're a Substack lover, I know I am. Substack is one of my favorite media platforms these days. Be sure to check it out and subscribe. You can subscribe for free or become a monthly or annual paid subscriber. We have recipes, recaps of our baking pod, She's My Cherry Pie, the Nancy Silverton cover story from our recent issue, and we'll be adding more content each week, including Radio Cherry Bombe recaps and some insider stuff. If you're new to Substack, think about it as the home of modern blogs. If you love reading and writing, it's the place for you. Visit cherrybombe.substack.com. What are you most nostalgic for? When you go home, is there anything you ever ask your mom to make for you? Or anything like that's still in your mind where you're like, oh, I would love to have my mom's fill in the blank right now?
Yes, my mom, she makes this lemon olive chicken, which is delicious. I have to ask her which cookbook she got it from. She was a big fan of the book, The Silver, is it Palette or Plate?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so she loved that cookbook. It could have been from there, but I think it's like chicken and cognac and garlic and lots of lemon, and you marinate it and then you bake it, but then you actually cook off the olives and the lemon and you serve it with tons of lemon and you eat the rind and it's lemon garlic olive heaven. So that's definitely a favorite dish that she makes, and her cheesecake. And I actually included her cheesecake in my book, Tahini Baby, because I was like, every time I go home, my mom makes it and everyone online is like, what is this incredibly beautiful? It's an Austrian style baked cheesecake. So it has like a beautiful kind of like a buttery crust and it's dark. It kind of looks like a Basque cheesecake a little bit. It's light. I say you have to eat it with your hand like a sandwich. Slice that cake and take it in your hand and eat it like this. No plate required. You'll love it. It's really good. And it's not too sweet. So you can also eat it like I've had it for breakfast.
Oh, okay. Love it. Throw a few berries on it and it practically is breakfast.
Absolutely.
I want to talk to you about Top Chef Canada. First, tell us the story of how you got on the show.
Yeah. So actually that was, I still sometimes have these like moments where I like, it's like such a pinch me moment to be a part of this show. I've been a fan of Top Chef for a very long time. And I got into television actually in my early 20s. I sold a show to the cooking channel called Eden Eats. And after I had my first show, I kind of started, you go down this kind of journey of like being a guest on like Beat Bobby Flay. And I was a guest on Iron Chef America to judge the food. And then I ended up becoming a judge on like Donut Showdown and then Sugar Showdown. I was on a lot of showdowns. I ate a lot of desserts. I had a lot of interesting looks on those shows. Please don't Google. I'm like, what
Wait, fashion looks?
Oh,
challenge accepted. We're going to find all those.
Who decided to put like hot pink lipstick on me? Shame. Shame. Also, what was I thinking? I'm like, yeah, let's go for it. There's nothing better than Googling yourself after like a decade. It's weird.
Some of my favorite content is Giada De Laurentiis and her daughter, Jade. And Jade is critiquing all her fashion looks from past red carpets and things, and it is hilarious.
Yeah, it's brilliant because it's a moment. We always have like a moment, and they show. But yeah, so what happened was I ended up getting cast as a judge on Chopped Canada. I loved it. It was a lot of fun. I forget when Top Chef Canada first started. There were two previous hosts. before they cast me. So I started in season 5. And I remember one of the producers from Chopped came up to me. He's like, we want you to come in. We want you to like read a couple lines. We're bringing back Top Chef Canada. And I was like, for what role? I look at myself and I'm kind of, I'm a goofball. I've always been, the class clown. I'm like, sometimes I'm like, wow, how did I get here? This is awesome. I have sometimes a little bit of like, what is that when you don't believe it's like, you have like a hard time accepting your like reality.
I don't know, imposter syndrome? I hate that term though.
Yes, I did have a lot of that for a long time. Anyways, I ended up going in there. We just totally hit it off. We had a great time. And they cast me as the host of Top Chef Canada. And that was it was so funny because I think that was one of the biggest jobs in television that I've ever been able to secure. And literally like a month before we started shooting, or like 2 months, I find out I'm pregnant with Ave. And I'm like, I'm like, let's go. So I was like going to take on this really big job and I'm like newly pregnant. It was so perfect.
Were you pregnant on camera?
I was pregnant.
Like visibly pregnant on camera?
So no, because
I was going to say that would have been awesome.
I know. Trust me. I was like, I have not had that. I don't think I'm ever going to have that moment because I think we're done. But I wish that I had that moment where I was like visibly pregnant, where I was like, I just want to wear like a crop top on camera, pregnant. Like I just want to be that person.
But I only say that because I think it's good for women to see that.
Oh my God, of course.
You haven't been disappeared just because you happen to be pregnant.
You know what? Actually, this season, Top Chef season 12 airs on October 14th, and one of the judges is very much pregnant. It's me, June Peck, and she's pregnant with her first. She's amazing. But yeah, to go back to season 5, I was newly pregnant and I shot my first season, and season 12 premieres in October. So I've been the host now for all these years, and it's been incredible. And it's truly been like just a real highlight of my career. What I think is also really interesting about Top Chef Canada, first of all, it is the biggest, most competitive and incredible primetime food television show in Canada. It's like the number one. Chefs that are top of their game come and they compete every season. And we say this every year, like it gets better and better. And like this really feels like the best season yet. And we get to have, chefs from all across, North America come and guest. So like Danielle Boulud has been on, Sophia Rowe has been a judge, Andy Baragani, and I get to just hang out with all these incredibly talented people all the time and learn from them and talk with them and talk food. And it's really been such like an incredible learning experience as well as, just fun and creative and exciting.
I want to go back to the first season. Okay, so you're pregnant. You have a little bit of imposter syndrome. Tell me why you were having imposter syndrome. Because like I said, I hate that term because you don't hear men say it a lot. And there are so many examples of men right now who should have imposter syndrome who don't.
Totally.
And you would never hear them say that. But women say it a lot. And I look at you came to this job with a lot of TV experience.
You know what? I think if I'm going to like break it down just from a male and female perspective, I think women are just so much more able to admit their feelings. Let's just put that first out there. I think that's also probably why women are like, I'm feeling this. Because we talk, we talk honestly. I have so many more honest conversations, I think, with my girlfriends than probably my husband sometimes is like, I can't believe you guys talk about stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, we're going deep. But to be honest, I think what it really comes down to is, and this is just something that I think I've personally, I can't speak for other people, but like I've experienced throughout my career, I've done this now. So I sold my first show when I was 23. I'm 39. So I've done this now for quite some time. And just recently, do I feel like I'm like, oh, okay, I've put the time. And I feel like I hate to say deserve, but I feel like this is how I got here. I think when I was younger, so much of it felt, and don't get me wrong, I still feel like a lot of it is luck. It's luck, it's talent. This industry is incredibly competitive. And I still feel so lucky that I get to be here and I get to be a part of it. There was a series of really amazing things that I feel very fortunate that I got to experience early in my career. And I just felt you get these opportunities and you don't want to like mess up and lose it.
Tell us how you push through feeling that way. Because, like I said, I might not like the term, but it's reality that a lot of women feel that way. And obviously Top Chef in America is a big show, so you kind of had those footsteps to fill.
Oh,
you were filling the Padma Lakshmi role and now the Kristen Kish role. So how did you get through that?
I think like anything else, first of all, I think a lot of it has to do with self-talk, which I didn't really get good at until I think I got a bit older. So what it really came down to was like surrounding myself with a lot of people that I think were really encouraging. I was very lucky, Edo has always been my biggest cheerleader and always been like, you got this. I saw you did that. You can do this. I know you can do this. Surrounding yourself with a lot of people that can kind of fill in when you're feeling a little bit, I don't know if it's insecure, but like nervous or like doubting. I don't know. I'm the kind of person that I have like FOMO of opportunity. So I've always said I'm a yes person. I've said yes to everything. And I've always also done things like, for instance, like I don't like public speaking. And that's what I do for a living. I tend to put myself in those uncomfortable situations a lot of the time, but I feel like the benefit outweighs the pain at the beginning. The feeling after you're done, you're like, that was awesome. I did it. We did it. We're here. It's like, it's a mind game.
I love that you called it FOMO of opportunity, which from now on we will call FOMO.
FOMO. I like it.
3 O's at the end.
It's starting right here. FOMO.
You're the one who has to say, pack your knives and go. Did you rehearse that? Did you stand in front of a mirror and say it 10 times?
Okay. I felt like it was one of those things where I was like, it's like rip off a Band-Aid. You just have to do it. It does not get easier. I'm going to tell you this. It's funny because while on set, you're not really connecting with the chefs because of the way the production rolls out. And they don't want you to get too close because you don't want it to feel like one chef is closer to someone. So they do keep us separated.
Oh, I never even thought about that part. Right. Because you don't want to really pick favorites.
Yeah, you can't, and you shouldn't. And it's very much based off of literally the last dish they make. But obviously, like, I'm with them every day. I'm with them more than every other judge because I do quick fires and elimination challenge. And, we're across the room from each other, but I'm a big goofball and I'm always playing. And my natural instinct is to always try and make everyone in the room feel comfortable. At my expense, I'll be like a complete idiot. But as long as they're laughing, I know how stressed out these people are. And I know how hard this competition is. I've seen these chefs. It is a no joke competition. And everyone that competes is like shocked every time they come on because we talk about it. When I say on camera, like you have 15 minutes, they have 15 minutes. And, a lot of these chefs, when you think about it, they are at the top of their game. They're coming from kitchens and teams that they work with on a daily basis. And they understand, like, when you work in a kitchen every day, you line everything up the way you want. You know your kitchen, you know your oven, you know how things work. They walk into a studio kitchen where they've never cooked before with 15 cameras and like television spotlights on them. They're cooking in front of some of the most amazing chefs that they completely just look up to. The prize aside and the title aside, this is their livelihood and this is what they do every day. This is their identity and they want to come in and they want to show. So it's like the pressure's so much. So I go in there and my instinct is to just try and make everyone feel as comfortable and light and a smile as possible.
As you do everywhere you go, Eden, I have to say.
I'm like, I don't even care if I look completely insane. I'm more comfortable seeing myself on camera where I look crazy than like me being serious.
I'm still super grateful that you danced and sang at our last Jubilee New York. Yes, you were winded. I'm going to give you the opportunity to read that talk because it was so good. But you don't have to
do it. We should do it.
You don't have to read it all winded.
Can you give me another opportunity to dance for you? That's the real question.
Anytime you want to dance at Jubilee, come back and just dance.
I might just have to choreograph something for it.
Well, we announced Jubilee New York. It's happening April 25th, 2026. Amazing. It seems like a million years away, but it's really, in terms of event planning, that's like tomorrow. Okay, yes. But anyway, 2 of the winners I would love to talk about. But before then, I had an idea of a TV show we can work on together.
Talk to me.
Nobody steal our idea. Top Chef Bachelor or Bachelorette. Why
It's
don't we
so
combine those two shows?
First of all, people have been coming to me. Obviously, my husband and I are like complete goofballs, and he really comes, like, I show him a lot on my social. So everyone's always trying to do something with food and dating, or like food and like relationships. And I do think there is something to it, but like
Right?
no one has cracked the code.
Maybe we
How do
can
you
crack the
do
code. I dated a chef. You are a chef. Do you get a spatula instead of a rose?
that? Yeah, here's your microplane. Now
We could
go
have the
and
golden Top Chef Bachelor. There's so many spin-offs.
I know there's something there. I agree.
Yeah, your
Well,
people need to talk to my people.
we'll go for coffee.
Okay. And if all you Hollywood people are listening, reach out.
Let's do it.
This
Call us.
This would be fun. We're going to talk. I think there's something to this. Anyway, okay. Season 5, the show has the first female chef who wins, right?
Yes.
Very exciting.
Yes. Well, Nicole Gomes.
Yeah, tell us about Nicole.
She's amazing. So first season that I hosted was All Stars. So they brought back a lot of incredibly talented chefs that competed previously. Nicole, she is honestly, from the beginning, she was just able to just be so quick on her toes, so creative. Her food was just always so delicious. And that's something that we always talk about on this show, because you can make beautiful food, but it has to be delicious. Like if the food isn't good, but it's beautiful, who cares? You know, it needs to make us feel something, and we need to enjoy it. So Nicole Gomes, like from the beginning, she was just such a top competitor, and she's had such a successful career since. She lives in Calgary. She has her own restaurant, I think with her sister, called Cluck and Cleaver. And she has since competed, I think, on Iron Chef. She's competed on Top Chef. I think it was Top Chef World All-Star. I think I maybe tried one dish of hers, fried chicken. Like, she is so capable of making so many different kinds of cuisines. She has just so much experience. I feel like her season finale was like pasta, an Italian feast. And like up until then, she never cooked any Italian food for us. And it was like a Nona was in there cooking from the soul, from like family generational recipes. We were like, what's happening here? Like, she blew our minds. I think she even competed on Beat Bobby Flay, and I think she won.
She beat Bobby. Good for her.
I think she beat Bobby, which is pretty incredible.
Did you compete on that, or were you a judge on that?
No, I was a judge once. A lot of people have asked me to compete. I don't know. The idea of cooking in a competition on just national television, I feel like I would by accidentally just slice my finger off.
Let's jump to season 9. Tell us about Erica.
So season 9, Top Chef Canada winner was Erica Karbelnik. Powerhouse, fierce, came in guns blazing. She came in to win this season. And what was really fun about this particular season was she competed against her husband as well. So her husband is a chef. They both are incredibly talented. They obviously knew that they were both cast for the season, but no one on the show did until we got there on episode 1. He made it really far as well. And
wait, did they have to keep that secret, or you knew they were a married couple?
Everyone knew on the first episode. But yeah, husband and wife competing against each other, which was a lot of fun, both incredibly talented. And she cooks actually contemporary Mediterranean, Middle Eastern food, very similar to my style. But again, capable of doing so much, and skills just like super high, cooks under pressure very well. And she has a catering company with her husband. They actually catered an event for me once, and it was amazing. I was like, I can't cook right now. Who am I calling? And Erica was number 1 on my list.
I just read about it. It's called Bring on the Carbs.
Yeah, it's called Carbs Catering.
Mm-hmm.
Carbs Catering, which is perfect and is a brilliant name.
All right. Her Instagram account is making me very hungry. There's this thing called pumpkin and brown butter hummus with toasted pecans and pomegranate.
Yeah, she's very talented.
I think I might need to make for Thanksgiving. We're going to talk about some of your dishes that we're going to make for Thanksgiving in just a minute. Before then, I want you to tell us about a new friend of mine who I just think is so kick-ass, and someone you've known for a while, one of your judges on Top Chef Canada, Janet Zuccherini.
So you spoke with my favorite person ever. Every time I'm with her, every season, she is hands down the person that I'm so excited to come back to be with. just joy, positive. Did you get that from her? Like,
Oh,
wicked smart, wicked smart.
100%. I mean, everybody will hear this episode eventually, but she came on with her sister, Jennifer, who's a fashion designer who I adore. But I never really knew Janet before. She's a powerhouse.
She has Nervosa in Toronto, which is an Italian restaurant that's been around for like 20 plus years, and it's still considered a go-to spot that everyone absolutely loves. And she has Gusto 101, Gusto 501, Pie, which is one of the top Thai restaurants in Toronto. And she expanded to the US, and she has Felix in Los Angeles. If you haven't gone, go. It's unbelievable. Evan Funky is the chef, and he hand rolls all the pasta, and it is just top.
Oh, wait, you're on her Instagram account. There you go. All right.
We love each other. There's a
Cute.
connection there. She's very sisterly to me.
Oh, look at you. Very fancy dress, pleated, maybe lime colored.
But I didn't see.
It's a trailer for season 12.
She's just wonderful and super smart. And I've learned a lot from her. And she just knows food.
Yeah. I would love to have her back just to talk about the art of running a restaurant, because she clearly has mastered it.
She is the person to do it with. If I were to ever try to get back into the restaurant industry, I think the only person I would reach out to is her.
Right, because you did have a restaurant in New York City. Des.
For a whole year.
Hey, it's the toughest thing ever. I had a bunch too. It's tough.
But it's a fun industry.
It is. That's why it gets in your blood, and that's why not a week goes by when people are like, are you ever going to have another restaurant? I'm sure they do the same with you.
Totally. Yeah.
And the answer is never 100% hard no.
You know what? It's complicated. I'm like, what Meryl Streep has in that movie, kind of the dream. I'm like, are we moving to California? Am I opening like a beautiful boulangerie and having a garden with that house? Is that my future goal? If that is, then I will have a restaurant.
Canadian Thanksgiving is coming up, or what you call Thanksgiving, right around the corner. Your 2 cookbooks are perfect Thanksgiving cookbooks.
Thank you.
There are so many fabulous vegetable dishes. If you're all about the sides and not about the turkey necessarily, you've got to look at those 2 cookbooks. So do you want to pick maybe 3 dishes we can talk about that would be great for Thanksgiving, whatever country you're celebrating?
And you know what? For me, it is all about the sides. It's always been about the sides. And that's where you can get the most creative. Don't get me wrong. I've seen some really creative turkeys, but like a turkey's a turkey. This is a turkey. It's a turkey. And sides, especially this time of year, what you get at the market, it's just so bountiful and beautiful. And you get to really play around. Actually, I'm really excited because I started to make recipes from Tahini Baby for this time of year. Because, I was rolling out recipes for summer and now fall. It's getting obviously heartier. And I have one that I think would be really perfect and actually great because you make it in a baking dish, is the fennel and potato gratin with an almond date crumb. So fennel, it has that beautiful anise flavor, potato, that starchy, hearty, quintessential ingredient that, I think we reach for, obviously, for a Thanksgiving meal.
Let me just say, fennel does not get the love it deserves.
Well, fennel's my all-time favorite. I think we've spoken about this.
I'm sure we have.
Do you love fennel too?
I love fennel so much raw. I love it cooked. Roasted fennel, I mean, I could snack on like it's candy.
I do. We do. My kids, it's their favorite veg. I feel like it's one of those vegetables too that feels sophisticated because of that anise flavor. There's a sophistication to it and a little bit more elevated. So
Eden, you're going to laugh. I have your PDF of Tahini Baby on my computer right now, and I just searched fennel. It came up 96 times in your cookbook.
Not surprised. It's really an issue. I went through a fennel phase for Tahini Baby. That's all I'm going to say.
Baby loves her fennel.
So the fennel and potato gratin with the almond date crumb. In there, I have leeks. I have fennel seeds and coriander seeds. I absolutely love my spices, and I feel like that kind of gives a little bit of like a unique vibe. Obviously, there's cream in there, so you get that richness. Not too heavy. I don't like things to be too overwhelming. But then I finish it with a crumb that I feel like the crunchiness, that layer of texture is so key for me. And this crumb has breadcrumbs, it has almonds, and it has some dates. So the dates have like a chewy kind of sweetness to it. And so there's a lot of like beautiful like mouthfeel and a lot of different flavors. So I think that that's a really show-stopping dish.
Do you need a food processor to make the crumb?
No, you can just roughly chop it with a knife because it's breadcrumbs, right? So you'll have the pancos. I think I call for panko. So it's just panko tossed with almonds.
You've got olive oil, garlic, panko, flaky sea salt, almonds. You got to toast them and pitted and chopped dates. I just bought dates at the Santa Monica Farmers Market, so I'm dated. Oh, and Rancho Meladuco came to Jubilee and they gave everybody dates, which was so cool. So,
which another favorite ingredient and hard not to use once you like find the right ones.
Oh, and Just Date syrup was there. We had all the date things. So all the stuff you need for Thanksgiving. Okay, so just give us a little advice here. I'm not great on toasting my nuts. I feel like I burn them every now and then, or I don't toast them enough. How do I get them to that sweet spot?
It's funny because I feel like nuts, I prefer doing it in the oven versus on the stove. I feel like it doesn't like evenly toast and then you get burnt little bits. So if I were you, if it feels like an overwhelming thing, before you actually make the dish, focus on the nuts so you have one thing to think about. Or the reality, honestly, you can buy pre-roasted nuts. I've done that too. I'm really comfortable with that. You know, obviously I'm a mom of 2 kids. I'm like, what kind of shortcuts can we find here? And sometimes buying your pre-roasted nuts and seeds, just throw it in. My charred Brussels with pomegranate butter. I grew up not loving Brussels sprouts. I was not a Brussels sprout lover. It's probably because I only had like bland, kind of like, you know, overcooked Brussels. And these Brussels, so they're roasted, they get caramelized, they have a nice kind of like density to them. And then they get covered in this salted butter, pomegranate molasses syrup with garlic and a little bit of Aleppo for some heat. So you get spice, you get that garlicky flavor. Pomegranate molasses is sour and sweet. So it is so impactful flavor-wise. I kind of find it's one of those like cheat ingredients. Like, you know how capers are like so briny and salty, and so they just bring so much? Pomegranate molasses has that in a different way, but it's one of those like cheat ingredients for me.
We mentioned the company Just Date, female founded. They do have a pomegranate molasses, and I've got it in my cabinet. So I'm going to attempt to make this because, same as you, Eden, you couldn't have paid young me $1 million to eat a Brussels sprout, right?
Yeah, it's mushy.
But as a grown-up, I love Brussels sprouts.
Yeah, I know. Well, because you probably had some really good ones. And I feel like they have to be roasted.
Okay, but I just have to say, pomegranate butter, what a brilliant idea.
Well,
I mean, could there be a better use of a stick of butter? No.
I couldn't agree more. And I think what's also fun about it is because you get that tartness and that sourness, the butter kind of mellows it out and brings like a richness and that fattiness. So it doesn't feel too much when it hits your mouth.
What's the next recipe?
Okay.
These are all killer sides. I hope everybody gets your book and makes these. My gosh.
Well, I'm actually torn between these two because one of them actually goes under my boss veg.
Boss veg.
So I have a boss veg chapter in my book, Tahini Baby, which is kind of that centerpiece veg dish, which adds a little bit more protein, a little bit more substance in there so that it feels like it's not a side, it's the main event. I'm tossed between my root steaks with chili cherry because, you know, we're whole roasting root vegetables here, and then we're cutting them into steaks. We're finishing them in a pan, kind of like you would steak. And then I cover it, obviously, with the chimichurri. I use a lot of chili here. You can reduce it if it's too much for you. And then on a beautiful kind of pile of garlicky tahini. So that to me feels like the quintessential Eat and Eats recipe. It's substantial. And I'm using different root steaks here. I use celeriac, which if you haven't cooked with celeriac yet or tried it, it's the king of root vegetables. It is really like celery on steroids, flavor-wise. And it takes on this sweetness once you roast it. It's big. And so you get really juicy, chunky steaks. And it's become actually quite popular in vegetarian and vegan cooking as like a substantial veg to use. So I use celeriac here. And once you roast it, I'm telling you, you have to try it.
I've had it and it's delicious, but I've never cooked with it. I do see it in the farmer's market all the time in the fall, so I should get a little adventurous.
You just roast it in the oven until it becomes tender. So there's no real like technique here. Just let the oven do its thing.
You've also got radishes. Are you roasting the radishes?
Yes, similar. So we're treating everything similarly because they're really dense. You know, these root vegetables are dense and they need the time in the oven to get nice and like tender. And then you slice them and then you finish them in a pan. And they're really delicious. And you can really like, just with that concept, you can do so many different sauces, so many different ideas. I just love cooking my roots this way.
You mentioned that there's protein in this dish.
It's from the tahini. So tahini, it's a good source of protein. It's an excellent source of calcium. I actually talk about it. I call my book Tahini Baby. It's like a love letter to tahini, even though I don't use tahini in every recipe. But I think what's also really cool about tahini is it's like kind of the glue to all the different recipes that I make. It works with literally everything. And because this book is vegetarian, I thought it was brilliant because it has that protein, it has that calcium. It's kind of like a superfood. It's anti-inflammatory, antioxidant. There's magnesium, there's iron. You know, there's so many great things and benefits from it. And one other thing, the harissa roasted carrots with the carrot top gremolata and labneh, that's another like tried and true. That recipe has followed me for almost my entire culinary career. It was with me, a version of it does. And so I put it in my book. And it's the harissa honey roasted carrots.
4 winners. If you want to shake up your Thanksgiving and start some new traditions, these recipes all sound great. It's a riff on your carrots, but you know my favorite from your first cookbook, honey roasted parsnips with dates and tzatziki. I love that recipe.
So good. I love
so
that.
Good. Well, Eden, I love you. Can't wait for the new season of Top Chef Canada. And congrats on the pup.
Thank you. And thank you for having me. And I absolutely love you. And I'm so honored to be here chatting with you always. So.
Aww. And have a happy Thanksgiving. Give everybody in the fam a kiss.
Thanks, honey.
That's it for today's show. Thank you so much to Eden Grinshpan. Our theme song is by the band Cha La La. Joseph Hazen is a studio engineer at Newsstand Studios. Our producers are Catherine Baker and Jenna Sadu. Our editorial assistant is Bridget Pittman. And our head of partnerships is Rachel Close. Thanks for listening, everybody. You're the bomb.